The rapport seemed good between two men who've worked together for years. But these talks have only just begun, and getting a deal here is an enormous challenge.
The
solution of this problem makes unnecessary any strikes on Syria, and I'm sure that our American partners, as President Obama mentioned, would prefer a peaceful solution.
John Kerry laid out some of America's red lines.
It has to be verifiable. It has to be credible. It has to be timely and implemented in a timely fashion. And finally, there ought to be consequences if it doesn't take place.
Russia wants the threat of force removed altogether, and so does Bashar al-Assad, who told Russian television on Thursday that he had not given in through fear of US airstrikes, and nor would he proceed with the plan unless the United States backs down. John Kerry and Sergei Lavrov are said to get on well. They're both seasoned politicians and diplomats, something that may help to smooth over the rough edges in these talks. But there are fundamental points of disagreement here over timing, over how to test the seriousness and credibility of a deal, and how to enforce it. And on the sidelines of diplomacy, there was this, an article in the New York Times written by Russian President Vladimir Putin that many Americans will have found deeply provocative. A strike would increase violence and unleash a new wave of terrorism, he wrote. It could throw the entire system of international law and order out of balance. Millions around the world would increasingly see America not as a model of democracy, but as relying solely on brute force. The Russian president also continues to maintain that the August chemical attack in the suburbs of Damascus was in fact carried out by the opposition, a view strenuously rejected by the French foreign minister.
The reality is quite clear. A chemical massacre took place. Bashar al-Assad's government was in possession of the weapons and gave the order. It is quite clear.
In Damascus, the fading threat of an imminent US strike seems to have relieved some of the tension.
After the Russian initiative, tensions began to ease on the streets of Damascus, and this is obvious from the activities in the markets.
Elsewhere, however, fresh assaults played out. This is a conflict that has claimed the lives of more than 100,000 people and forced 2 million more to flee the country. There's a chance that diplomacy in Geneva will succeed in removing chemical weapons from the battlefield, but conventional ones will go on killing.